anticipated matchup between the Oakland Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Super Bowl 37.
World champs, baby.
Catching the shit. Again, it's like you notice, so it's time to flip the script. Cruising through the bay on that Buccaneer battleship, sold up, screaming out, so Buc what you heard. So Buc what you heard. So Buc what you heard. So Buc what you heard.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? This is your guy, Gene, at Buc What You Heard. You can reach me at Buc What You Heard on Twitter. You follow me, I'll follow you back. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here. I'm ready for football season to start. And I know you guys are ready as I am. We want answers to some questions that we've all got in our head. I'm going to jump in the chat. You got guys out here in the chat already. Seminole Buccaneer, Bucs Report, what's going on? How y'all doing? Keith Sarvis, what's up? Eric Moreno is in Spain. Eric Moreno, what part of Spain are you in right now? I will be in Spain in December, so I'll just kind of get some ideas from you. What's going on, man? And just let me know in the chat, and I will get this out here. Sin A, what's going on? Let me move my little chat box over here, and there we go. Seminole Buccaneer, Bucs Report, what's going on? Gandia and Diamos. Okay, where's Diamos? Is that near? Where is that near? What major city is that near? Anyway, glad you guys can join in. This is not my normal night, but I've got a little bit of time on my hands. I've been really working on my audio. A lot of uncertainty with YouTube, with the way they're changing. Oh, okay, you're near Valencia. I will be in Valencia in December, so it's going to be really cool to take some pictures in my Bucs gear. Get some pictures where we are invading invading Spain. So I'm good with that. Losing Wi-Fi from up here in the storm, so I might be in and out of here. Hey, please be careful. I know that they've got some storms and they got some weather out there that's pretty bad. So anybody that's out there, be careful if you are near that. Valencia is 4 or 5 hours from Madrid and Barcelona. Yeah, we're gonna do the Spain tour. We're going to start out in London, go over to Birmingham. Then we're going to hit up Spain, and then we'll go over to Morocco. So it's going to be a fun trip. I'm actually looking forward to it. But even more than that, I'm looking forward to football season. So I know you guys have questions about this team. What is this team going to do? Let's go ahead and let's go in here and get it hyped. First, let me do a roll call here because, hey, you got a lot of people here checking it out. Antonio Santiago, get hyped, baby. Bucs football is here. You know it, man. I'm super excited about it. If you're not, you cannot be a Bucs fan if you are not excited for what this team could potentially do. You got a new coach, got a new outlook. A lot of players are getting that mulligan do-over, and they're getting to try to show what they can do under a new coach, under a new regime, new coordinators, and a new scheme. So something to really look forward to. So it's just me, it's just you guys. So I'm gonna hit you guys with some questions, and you know what? I want to try something kind of different here. Because we're just this is me. I'm getting on here. We're kind of random and talking Bucs football. I don't know if you guys got to see last week or a week before last when I did the hot seat with Pewtercast when Pewtercast was on. We did the hot seat, and that was a lot of fun. And I want to try getting some of you guys on and see how you guys do in the hot seat. And if you can answer some questions, and can you answer those questions in a minute? So, stay tuned for that. And that's why I really suggest, if you can, follow me on Twitter. If you can, and I'll do everything I can to get you guys on. If you're not subscribed, give it a shot. Go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button, subscribe, and just let me know, let me know what you're thinking. And Antonio Santiago will be at the first day of camp when they have the pads on. So Antonio, I want to ask you, what are you most looking forward to with camp? There's going to be a lot of things going on. So if you could isolate one thing, what's going to be that big thing for you that you're actually looking forward to? I know for me, it's been a big argument. It's been something of, I want to say, contention, and that's been the secondary. A lot of people don't believe, that the Bucs have really answered the question at secondary. Another position would be the offensive line. A lot of people out there are feeling like, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not addressed that line. Okay, here we go, talking about our 3-4. That's going to be really interesting to see. Kelly Buck, what's going on? What it do, Bucks? Antonio, you're right, man. Just seeing a new defense and seeing how how are these players going to respond to that defense and get out there and make the most of it. And it looks like the majority of the players have bought into it. And that's what is really exciting for me. Players like Cameron Brate, players like Jameis Winston, especially Jameis Winston. This is the engine to the car right here. He's got to have a good season in order for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to have a good season. So it's going to be very important for him to buy into this and make the most of his opportunities as we move forward through this 2019 season. So, the one thing, Antonio, and I'm glad you brought up the 3-4. The one thing that's going to be interesting to me is that front line. And you've got Ndamukong Suh, you've got Vita Vea, and you've got some other players that will fill in, on that line. And, we haven't even talked about the linebacker core as much, but this is something that I'm really interested in seeing. How have these guys adapted to, this new system, and who's bought in? Have they bought into this new system? And, how will they benefit from these new coaches, or will they benefit? So again, it's just going to be one of those things that it will be a lot of fun to actually get out there and watch these guys and see what they do. So shout out to you guys. Anybody else that's going to camp, I'd really love to hear what you guys are thinking at this point, and what do we have to look forward to? So I know that there was a lot of questions about this team with the limited salary cap that they had, and what kind of team will we see when they finally hit the field on day one of the regular season. Will Golston has to be great this year. Antonio, I 100% agree. Will Golston is one of those guys that he's one of those guys that I will be keeping an eye on him in camp. I think same with the young secondary. I'm right there with you. And, and this is me, I'm going to go ahead and put my preview out there, and it has changed from week to week, just kind of listening to what people are saying. I want to see what the defense as a whole does. If the defense can play as a collective unit, I think that's going to be huge in Tampa Bay, but in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being successful this year, is everybody playing as a collective unit and not playing as individual players. Because right now, I'm not looking for individual statistics. I'm looking for wins and losses. So wins are going to be very important this year, and it's going to be important to be vying for a playoff spot. Byron Moore, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight? Again, that's going to be huge. With all the draft picks that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have spent on this young secondary, on the secondary in general, going all the way back to Vernon Hargreaves, will we see production out of the secondary? will this secondary be able to shut down? Now, I wouldn't say shut down, but not be a liability. Will this defense be able to go out in the fourth quarter and stop a team, get a 3 and out, get the ball back to the offense so that you're securing a win? There's a lot of things, a lot of small things that we saw that really kind of stuck out for me personally. And one of the big things was fundamentals. And what I mean by that is just good tackling, sound tackling, playing in your position, taking care of your assignment, not worried about what the guy next to you or the guy behind you or, the guy on the other side of the field is doing, but making sure to finally, to be able to get in there. I'm taking care of my assignment and I'm not worried about what the guy next to me is doing or the guy on the other side of the field is doing. Sin A, I 100% agree with you. Real coaching is huge. And with these coaches, you have teachers. And, I don't know if you've gotten a chance. If you haven't, I'm going to really suggest going back and listening to the Bruce Arians interviews, because this gets you insight into what he's wanting to do with this team, or wanting to do with, let's put the team aside for a second, wanting to do with the coaching staff. I think that's going to be huge as well. So what I mean by that is Bruce Arians is always looking for that next coach that's going to go somewhere, and he's going to kind of build that coaching tree. And I think that's incredible. I think that's very commendable for a head coach to want his coaches to go up to become head coaches, as opposed to being in the same place, being landlocked and not moving any further. So I think that with Bruce Arians and what he's trying to do, what his philosophy is, I think a lot of people are buying into it. And I think the one thing that is going to be huge, and I don't know, a lot of you guys may not remember back to this. Some of you may, when Tony Dungy took over for Sam Weish, and Tony Dungy, how his philosophy caught on with the players. Players bought into it. And slowly but surely, the fans bought into it. And that's where you saw where it became contagious for anybody associated with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because there was a true system in place and everybody was buying into it, and it led to bigger and better things. Antonio Santiago, this coaching staff, top to bottom, is best since our Super Bowl W. It's interesting you say that. I want to say this. I'm definitely, hey, Demand, what's going on? Go Bucks. There you go. But Sin A, I'm sorry, Antonio, I want to kind of get back to what you're saying, best top to bottom, best since the Super Bowl W. I'm really curious to see at the end of the season what people are saying. I will, this is one of those videos that I have out here that I'll definitely be rolling back to look at towards the end of the season, because I'm Tyler Johnston. What's going on? How you doing? I'm really curious to see where Tampa progresses. Because there's so many things. I really personally believe there's a lot of talent on this team, and there's a lot of talent that really didn't get the exposure that they needed or they deserved. And there were a lot of players that, in my honest opinion, did not get used to their potential. So it's going to be really exciting for me to get here and watch the camps, hear what people are going to be talking about at camp, and what this team does. It seems like they're starting to respond. So again, it'll be interesting to watch that. Sin A, do you feel that Leftwich is being groomed to take over for Bruce Arians down the line? You know what? I'm not sure. And again, it's really early. Ricky, what's going on, man? How you doing? It's really early right now, and I don't want to sound like I'm copping out. And if you guys have noticed, I haven't done a lot of videos this offseason because I'm 100% unsure what this defense, what this offense, what the special teams is going to look like. And I would like to be able to speak intelligently on something, before I put something out here on air and say, okay, I believe this and this and this. Because now you're looking at a do-over for a lot of players. Ronald Jones, good example. Here's a guy that everybody's pretty much written off as a bust. Not everybody, but a lot of people have written him off as a bust. And now here he is. Steve Bass, what's going on, man? A lot of people have written him off, and they're saying, okay, we needed to get more help in the running back position. I want to see what he does, how he responds to this new offense. And then you kind of get an idea at the end of the season where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are. As we look right now, nobody can 100% say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be good or they're going to be bad. I can tell you this. It's possible, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. It's possible for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to flip their record if everything works out health-wise, as far as injuries, if everybody responds, and you've got good sound coaching. And I really do believe that, with Bruce Arians coming in, you've got a very sound coaching staff, you've got accountability, and I think that they can put some things together to put this team in a position to be successful. So it'll be fun to watch. I'm definitely going to have my eye on a lot of things. And guys, if you get a chance, Pewtercast, those guys do a great job, and I would really be following those guys for when they go to camp. Ren Dax is really great. I was supposed to have him on Wednesday, but I've been having audio issues, so hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I don't know. How do you call a player a bust after one season, especially with so little playing time? Hey, all you got to do is go on Twitter and you get your answer on that one, bro. It's not me. It's basically listening what a lot of people are saying. I've seen a lot of outrageous tweets, and I've always been in the mindset that you cannot really you can't call a rookie a bust after 2 seasons. I think it should be at least 3 seasons to get, number one, the speed of the NFL under your belt. 2, to get adjusted to the system. And 3, this is where you can go out and show what you can truly do. So to me, I'm looking at 3 seasons to really get an idea of who you have. And there are going to be times where you have questionable coaching, and then you have to really kind of take a step back and say, is this talent or is this coaching? So I'm really excited about who's in place on the coaching side and what they can possibly do with this offensive defense. And that beer looks. Oh, you can see the beer. Oh, hold on. You see the beer? Oh, I didn't think you could see it. But anyway, so kind of getting back to what I was talking about, I just kind of got off. I get like that sometimes. I just kind of go back through here. I really do believe we'll see some of the best football we've seen in Tampa for a long time. You know what? That you could definitely you can say that. Again, I want to see how this team, how they respond to this new offense and defense. And are they going out and playing for these wins? So again, just watching camp, seeing who stands out, because all these players are going to be important when we get to the middle part of the season. Very important, because we all know that injuries occur in the NFL. So there are going to be players that are going to be called upon to make plays. And those are the players that you're going to have to kind of watch out for. Let's see. Ricky, Jameis Winston needs to throw for 4,500 yards and Ronald Jones needs to run for 1,000 so that we can make the playoffs. Defense will be great. You know what? It's about the to me, it's about this team playing collectively as a team, both offense, defense, and special teams. All the phases need to work together. I know it, and you guys know it as well as I do. We've all seen it. There have been games where the defense plays good and the offense is they're okay. Then you've seen games where the offense does good and the defense is a liability. And then you've seen games where the offense and defense plays good, but the secondary or the special teams, they don't show up. And so you run into some special teams issues. So just getting this team to play collectively as a unit is something that I feel is very important if we're going to have any chance of this team fighting for a playoff spot. Rob G, what's going on? Jameis stats this season: 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. You know what, Rob? I'm going to say this: if the defense, Rob, if the defense really gets out there and does what they do, I think that you're going to see even less interceptions. I can really say that. I'm going to go out here and say that if the defense does what they need to do, then Jameis Winston's turnovers will drop as they'll be in better positions to make scores. Ricky, sorry, I'm out of limes and I was too lazy to go to the store, so forgive me. But yeah, you know, that's something that again, there's so many different facets to this team that I'm looking forward to seeing, especially with the secondary. And I want to get back to an original point that I was making about players that are kind of getting a do-over. And one of the players that sticks out to me is Vernon Hargreaves. And I know a lot. I'm going to be honest. I wanted Sheldon Rankins. I didn't want Vernon Hargreaves. But since Vernon Hargreaves has been a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, I've been 100% behind him. I haven't, if you'll notice, and you can go back to my shows and look, I've never taken any shots at the guy. I've never said anything, hey, this guy is trash or anything like that. I really believe that Vernon Hargreaves, who was a press man guy at Florida, any Gator fans out there, please correct me if I'm wrong, but Vernon Hargreaves was a man press guy out of college, while he was with the Gators. And the way that they've utilized him, I think they're really not getting the most out of what he's potentially capable of doing. And if he can stay 100% healthy, I think that he would be a big benefit to that secondary. I think the Bucs have gone out and got some secondary players that, are definitely going to help this team. And one guy that I'm really, really disappointed in is Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith is a guy that I really always felt like he has never gotten an opportunity, kind of like Keith Tandy. He's never gotten an opportunity to really show, what he's capable of doing. So, again, here's another guy that, he really needs to, hopefully he can come back and be of benefit to this team. He may not. I think he really hurt his chances by, getting that suspension. So I don't know. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens. Oh, all right. Had to turn the fan off. It's too much backup. Sorry about that. But so again, it's just one of those guys that I'm really looking forward to. Another guy is Bobo Wilson. Bobo Wilson has always been somebody that I've had my eye on because with his speed, I've always wanted to see if he could catch up to the speed of the game and take advantage of defenses and make himself somewhat of a target for Jameis Winston that he can make those moves. Rob G, why Devin White hasn't signed yet? Why hasn't Devin White signed yet? What's the holdup? I haven't heard anything yet. Rob, I'm going to say this. Devin White will be on the field day one. There won't be any, I don't see any issues coming up. I think he will be in camp. I can honestly say that, when it comes all the way down to it, I can see him in camp the first day of camp. So again, nothing to really worry about until it actually becomes a story. I would, just kind of think about some of the players, some of the position battles that you really want to see. There's going to be a lot of rotation, especially like on defense. So if your guy's not a starter, they will have an opportunity to show what they can do and put themselves in a position to get more playing time. The cool thing about this whole situation right now is Bruce Arians is not married to the majority of the players on his team. He wants the best 53 out there on the field. So what you're seeing is, what you're going to see is whoever earns that spot, that's the guy that's going to start. And then whoever it comes after that is the guy that's going to come in and so on and so on. So again, I think when this season, what I'm really excited about with this season is you're going to get the best 53 out there. Um, Other than a few positions, a lot of these guys are going to have to go out there and earn their place on this team because Bruce Arians he wants the best players on the field. And, he's going to hold people accountable. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, it's got to happen. So, again, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. No more, oh, I drafted you, so you're going to start. No, you're going to have to go out there and earn your spot, and let's see what you can do. And if there are players that have been here longer than some of the draft picks, I think they're going to get a bigger opportunity to go out there and do what they do. So, again, it's just one of those. I want to kind of go back to what I was saying. Just, you want the best players on the field, and that's what I think you're going to get. Another thing is, when I know we kind of touched on Jameis Winston, I think Jameis Winston is in a really good position right now. When you've got a Chris Godwin, you've got a Cameron Brate, you've got a OJ Howard, Peyton Barber. I was watching some of the game film, and I'm really curious to see how they use Peyton Barber this year. Peyton Barber has some nice hands, and there were plays where I had forgotten that there have been times where they throw the ball to him, and he's been able to make those plays. So it's going to be interesting to watch that too. Why not move Kappa to right tackle to start training him as a replacement for Dotson and let Watford hold down right guard till Bailey is ready? You know what? That's definitely a possibility. I don't know what film the coaching staff has seen, whether it's the offensive line coach, whether it's Bruce Arians, but they didn't do a lot of addressing that line. So that's going to be something. That's going to be another position to watch right there. How are they going to put these players in a position to protect Jameis Winston? That's something I'm really looking forward to seeing. Antonio Santiago, you are 200% right. No excuses. There should be no excuses. It's beyond time. It's time for this team to start showing some dividends and get out there and make plays. Get this team in a position for the playoffs. Bucs Nation is well overdue, and I'm going to say that again, well overdue. It's going to be something that we should all kind of be watching for. That's why Camp with Pads is real. Yeah, so that's why you were waiting on the Camp with Pads. I think that's a great look right there. I think something else to be looking for. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe is it the Miami Dolphins that the Buccaneers are practicing with in preseason? I'm trying to remember. I think it is, but I don't have my screen up. I'm just kind of going off memory or what I've seen. So, again, a lot of opportunities for guys to make plays, but I think I've done pretty good. I've been keeping up with the chat and making sure that I'm getting all your guys' questions answered. Any other questions out there, please, just kind of let me know. Again, I've been very careful not to make predictions about stuff because I haven't seen this team, but I'm excited about it. I really am. I've kind of been indifferent when it comes to draft picks and who's going to play on this team, who's not going to play on this team. Shaq coming to Tampa, I'm really excited about. Another guy that you guys, if he can stay healthy, is Perryman. And the one thing that totally concerns me, that's always concerned me since he was a Raven, is his injuries. I think that he can definitely be a benefit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, quietly come in and make plays if he can stay healthy. And that's something that we should be watching him to see how he does in camp. I don't know. Do you put a guy like this with injury questions? Do you put him in a high snap count? What do you do? How do you keep him healthy? So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Tyler Johnston, Shaq will be our sack leader. That's going to be fun to watch too. This is a guy, he didn't get a lot of playing time in Denver, but I think that he's gonna really show up and show out here too. out of our young wide receivers, who's going to be our next Humphreys? Adam Humphreys was a special player. It was sad to see him go. It was one of those weird situations. I really believe that Adam Humphreys got overpaid, and you guys may disagree with me on this. Adam Humphreys would never have been a number 2 receiver with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He just wouldn't have. You got a Chris Godwin coming out with the intangibles that he has, with the skill set that he has. It just looks like Adam Humphreys was just in a weird situation. So, kind of have to wait and see what happens. Bobo Wilson has a chance to compete, and he has to come out there and ball out this spring. He has to, his hands have to be nice. He have to make those catches. You've got to be able to run those routes and put yourself in a position to succeed. And that's something that he's going to really need to do, really need to focus on, being as consistent as he possibly can, because that's what's going to be important, this year, is being consistent. Jameis Winston, making plays, no turnovers, just being consistent and putting this team in a position to succeed. The offensive line, opening up holes and protecting the quarterback, have to be consistent with that. The running backs, they have to be able to find those holes and make the most of those opportunities. So just as a whole, just the team being consistent. OJ Howard staying healthy and really showing what he's capable of doing. That's going to be very, very, very important this year. Cameron Brate, who played through some injuries, kind of the same thing. So a lot of great opportunities for some of these guys. I haven't really talked a lot about the offense. I'm excited about it because I don't really believe, just kind of looking back at Bruce Arians' body of work, I don't think he's ever had this level of talent, on the offensive side of the ball at one time. So I could be wrong. And, please feel free to correct me, or if you disagree with me, let me know. But, just looking at what Bruce Arians has had to work with over and his career as in a coaching position, I really do believe that he hasn't had this level of talent like he has right now. So, again, we'll see what he does with it, and we'll see if maybe I'm wrong. And you know what? I'm not afraid to be wrong. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Kendall Beckwith. I was wrong about that guy. Kendall Beckwith apology tour. Devin White. Another guy. I'm looking forward to seeing Devin White. And I wasn't thrilled with Devin White, the draft pick, but now here we are. He's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I'm ready to see what he can do. Go out here, and there will be the Devin White apology tour this year. If I'm wrong, I wanted a defensive lineman, but again, the coaching staff feels like they've got the personnel, they've got the tools in place to be successful. So that wasn't a priority for them. So here we go. Let's see what they do. And again, guys, this is probably the last time you'll hear me say, I didn't want this guy, I wanted this guy, because these guys are Tampa Bay Buccaneers now, and that's all that matters. They're Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The other guys that I wanted that didn't make the team or didn't get picked or whatever, they're another team. I'm not even going to worry about them right now. Let's focus on the team that we have. Let's get behind the team we have, and let's get some wins. That's what I'm excited about. So, there's that. The way the coach runs practice is going to be the reason guys get these shots. It's going to be fire. You know what? You are 100% right. The NFL is a copycat league. I expect to see this. If this is successful in Tampa, this is something I expect to see more teams doing next year. And the reason I say that is because how many times has there been that one player that didn't get playing time, didn't get exposure, goes to another team, and he's successful? We've seen that so many times. One guy that really stands out to me was LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount, nobody saw LeGarrette Blount being as good as he was. And he's consistently had good seasons as an NFL player, whether it's with Tampa, whether it's been with New England, the Steelers, so on and so forth. So, again, I'm excited about it. Let's see what happens. Antonio Santiago, this boy had his LSU gloves and cleats in the indoor facility. That's how you do it, man. You know what? That's how you do it. And I'm praying that this guy is successful. I'm hoping that he is everything that I've seen on film from him, everything that everybody's saying he is. Because, when I look back at Quan Alexander, I like Quan Alexander, but sometimes he was a liability in coverage. This guy that we have right now can cover. I'm excited about it. I want to see what he can do. Michael Bennett is that player for me. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So again, it's kind of going back to White. I'm excited for him. I'm glad he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Let's see what he can do. And Zuda, Jeremy Zuda and Donald Penn. Good call there, SNA. You're absolutely right. Again, and kind of go back to this team again, and just the players that are on this team. I don't know what you guys think. I know that there are a lot of questions for me. Was this these 2 5-win seasons? Was that related to personnel, or was that related to coaching? It's something that we've kind of gone back and forth with, and I've had some really great conversations with people who've really discussed this to say, okay, it was a coaching, or was it the player personnel? So again, this will give us a great opportunity to see who it was, if some of these players are able to respond to these new coaches and new play schemes, and how they respond to that. I'm excited about Watson and Scotty in and out of the slot. There you go, Watson. And it's a name we haven't really talked about. Does Watson come out and secure? Is it possible for him to come in and secure that number 3 spot? That'll be really interesting to watch. Scotty is, well, one thing I'll say about Scotty is fast. The guy is fast. Let's see. Moral, all the above. There we go. Antonio Santiago again. Really, really great conversation in the chat. I appreciate you. What happened with Sean Wilson? Anyone know? You know what? I've heard conflicting stories about this, and I'm wondering if he couldn't get healthy. I know that I haven't seen that injury settlement or anything like that, but I don't know. I just wonder if he was not able to get 100% healthy. Here's a guy that I love this guy. I thought that Sean Wilson was going to, this year, from when I'm looking back to last year, I'm thinking, oh, Sean Wilson's got a spot on this team next year. He'll be 100% healthy. Let's see what he does. But here we are, and they've kind of moved on from him. So, again, I don't know what's going on. I'll have to, I'll tell you what, Cali Buck, if you give me a little bit, Wednesday, when I do the podcast on Wednesday, I'll definitely kind of ask some questions and see what else I can find out from some actual insiders. I don't know any personal insiders, but I'll ask some people to ask some people to ask some people. So we'll get you some answers on that. But it's kind of getting back to this. That guy was your X factor. Absolutely, man. I loved him. I thought his energy, what he brought to the running game, is what you need, especially when you consider what the offensive line looked like and how the coaching was last year, and considering that coaching was not, these coaches were not buying into the run. It was all about those big chunk plays. So again, we don't know. Yeah, I understand he's not a Buck, but I mean, we're just kind of, it's off season. These are questions you ask, and this is a question that I found kind of interesting too. And I would be curious to know, what happened with him and why he's not a Buck. Is it possible that he can come back? That kind of thing. So, definitely something to keep in mind. And I promise you, Wednesday, when I roll out the show on Wednesday, that'll probably be one of the big things that I start out with, is just talking about that. I thought he was going to take over on special teams. You know what? That's where I'm at. You know what? And Cali Buck, you bring up an interesting point. What do you guys think about the special teams? Who's your kick returner? Who's your punt returner? You know, just based on the team that's out here right now, anybody stand out to you that you're like, wow, he should be returning kicks, or he should be returning punts? You know, just let me know in the chat, and I'll definitely like to talk about that, because that's going to be a very important aspect of this team, is special teams. Getting good field position on kicks and punts, and putting this team in a position to be successful is going to be very important. It's also going to be very important to make good decisions, because we've seen in the past where kick returners have made bad choices and put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in horrible positions to start off drives. So again, it's going to be one of those things that's going to be very important. What is this guy? I know exactly who you're talking about too, and I'm going to go grab his name while I'm thinking about it. I know exactly who you're talking about, and let's see here. Yeah, this is pretty dope, man. I'm glad you guys are in. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it starts with an O, and I know exactly who you're talking about. And I'm going over here and look right now. If you guys have hit me up, and I don't have the chat open right now, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Dare Odiingbo is, and hopefully I'm not butchering his name too much, but I'm thinking that's who you're talking about, the running back. Dare Ugun. No, it's Dare Ugunbowale. I think is who you're talking about. Dare Ugunbowale. Yeah, that's I'm almost positive that's who you're talking about, number 44. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. So again, you know, that's really interesting that you say that, Sin A. I agree. Spurlock was huge for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when he was in there, and he just had that knack for getting those big plays in the kicking game, or the kick return game. So yeah, that's it. But he's not fast. I think if you can see those holes and you can hit those holes and make those plays, at least putting the team in a successful position is going to be important. How many times have we seen guys try to bring the ball out instead of taking a knee and taking it to the 25? You've got guys that have been running the ball out, and then you get you end up getting a first, you know, you're at the 1st and 10 on the 15. So you know, we've seen a lot of that. It just has to be good decision makers when we're talking about the running game. So another one of those things that's very important as well. So again, you know, we've spent a little bit of time kind of talking about the team as a whole. I just wanted to talk some football tonight, and you know, kind of get that in. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm not going to drop any records. Me personally, not going to drop any records, but you know, just kind of curious. What do you guys? How do you think the Bucs are going to do? Do you think this is a team that's going to turn it around and shock everybody, or is this a team that's just going to do a little bit better than what they've done? Let me check pulling the chat up again here. Got the chat behind here. All right. Played against Spurlock in high school, fastest guy I've seen in person. Wow, really? So CNA, I'm gonna ask you a question, man. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Could you cover him? Is this one of those things where what position did you play, number one? And how was he to try to defend? I mean, just watching him on TV, when you ever watch a player on TV, you really never get the full gist of how fast he was or how fast he is until you see it in person. Watching Barry Sanders in person is probably one of the most sobering things I've ever seen, just incredible to watch him. So played against Spurlock in high school, fastest guy I've seen in person. I could not even imagine trying to go up against somebody like that. So I can tell you, for me personally, I was a risk taker, and I was always running the bleachers after that because most of my risks didn't pay off, trying to make those moves. So I don't know. That's just me. I'm honest about it. I just, you're a nose guard. Okay. So when he was hitting that hole, then you're going head up with him and just the footwork just has to be something to be impressed with. Do y'all remember Kenny Bell? He was fast. Clinton Smith, he was fast. Callie, I'm going to say this. Kenny Bell, and if you've listened to the show over the years, Kenny Bell was one of those guys. I was like, man, I'm really rooting for Kenny Bell. I want Kenny Bell to do well. Kenny Bell is just, I don't know. He's just not a good player. I mean, I watched Kenny Bell professionally. I watched Kenny Bell in preseason, in person. I watched Kenny Bell with the league that just folded. I actually sat about, I was maybe three rows back from the sidelines where he was and watching him play. And he's just, I don't know, something about his game. He's just not good. I want to say he's not good. Okay, I'm going to say he's not good. Just watching him play. But I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get too much into that. Hester in Atlanta, he played quarterback, punter, and safety that game. Jesus Christ. This guy stayed on. He was an Iron Man where he just like stayed on the field. We were winded after the first quarter and underestimated his speed. Jeez Louise, man. That probably would have been me. Kenny Bell was garbage. Yeah, you know what? I'm like again, I saw him when they had that the league here, the was AAF or whatever. The Arizona Hotshots were playing the Utah Stallions or whatever they were. So I got to go out and watch Kenny Bell, and I'm not to get off the subject. I'll get back on to what we were talking about here shortly. But got to watch Kenny Bell warm up, and he's got a hell of a fan base, and they travel. I don't know if it's just because they're Cornhusker fans or what it is, but they travel. And he just continuously signing autographs, very cordial with the fans, but just watching him line up against the DB, and he couldn't get separation at all. Zero separation at all. I mean, his get off was, I really couldn't put a name to anybody that had a get off like his. And he could not get separation. And that's the one thing that I noticed about him right before he got his hamstring injury, was that he was a guy that couldn't get separation off the ball, no matter what. And I remember there was, I'm trying to think who that was. If it was Carolina, I think it was Carolina. There was a game against Carolina, and he just couldn't get separation. And you're right, Sin A, you're absolutely right. He doesn't like contact. He doesn't do well in contact. If you jam him at the line, you pretty much taken him out of the play. There were times where I just knew that he played scared. And again, I don't know if he got injured. He got that hamstring injury, affected him psychologically or what, but he could not get separation. And I watched him like, dude, you're getting off, and these guys are playing 5-10 yards off of him. And normally the wide receiver controls what's going to happen. They dictate what's going to happen on a play if you have a DB that's playing that far off the ball. And we all, as Bucs fans, we all know how that all goes. So you would think that he would have made some plays, but just he never did. Couldn't get separation. But anyway, enough about him. We've wasted enough of your time talking about him. Just like Dexter Jackson, a wide receiver that Gruden took in the second round. Oh yeah, that was a whole ego thing. That was if I promise you this, if Dexter Jackson had been a successful wide receiver in the NFL, that would have added to the John Gruden legend right there. And that's all that was. But on other things. So that's pretty much it for me. I wanted to jump on tonight. I wanted to test my audio, make sure the audio is working. You guys as a chat, thank you so much for listening in. And I appreciate that. The best thing Kenny had going from him was his afro. Yeah, his afro was fresh. I will admit that. And that's kind of what, Afro Thunder, that's what put him there. And I think what really put him on the map was when he lit up that dude, when he hit that dude with that peelback block. That film right there put him, it put him on the map. It's where everybody started talking about him and what he could potentially do. Excuse me. I realized too that he had a good career in college, and I think he broke some records or whatever. But enough about that. So one last thing before I jump off here. Oh wow, I'm looking at the replay here, and the video looks horrible. Hopefully we can fix that. But it's kind of getting back to what's going on here. I'm really having next week. I'm gonna try to get one of you listeners on. Hopefully, whoever's following me on Twitter, hit me up, DM me, and let's see about getting you on and see what we can do here. But again, that's pretty much it for me. It's Friday. Get out here, enjoy your weekend. I may do something this Saturday, Sunday, just to kind of break up the monotony. Oh, drink your beer. Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you, sir. And to everybody, have a great weekend. Be safe. Don't be stupid. Don't drink and drive. There's Uber, there's Lyft. If you have to go out and party or have a good time, just be careful out there. But that's it for me. If you didn't catch all this, I'll have it up on Bucks Report on Facebook. Again, I will keep doing this as long as you guys keep watching me. You're appreciated. One thing that I haven't really been doing is pushing the Bucks fan 727. You didn't miss anything, just me rambling a lot, bro. One thing I will say, if you're not following me, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. I appreciate that. My goal is to get to 1,000 viewers before football season. Probably won't make it because I'm so lazy about stuff. But I'm going to start putting more shows out. We're getting closer to football season. I have concrete stuff to talk about. So really excited. I'm going to have some guys from Bucks Report. Guys, I don't know if you've been following the Tampa Bay Tornadoes, the Arena League team that's come to Tampa. If you're not following the Tornadoes, please do. I'm excited about that. We don't have the storm anymore, but we do have tornadoes. So something to be excited about. On Twitter, look for the Tampa Bay Tornadoes. Follow them. Check them out. Get excited. There's so much going on right now, in the Tampa Bay area as far as sports. And let's enjoy it. Let's appreciate it because, I love Tampa. Oh, excuse me. My goodness. Until next time, to the Buck Mobile. There you go. Kelly Buck, what's up? Well, anyway, yeah, like I was saying, check them out. And, please give them a follow. They're going through tryouts right now throughout the U.S. to see if they can get some players. If you're not local, if you're not in Tampa, maybe you may be in one of these cities where they may be going to. So you never know. They are starting this tour to get some players to get their roster together. And you may be that next Tampa Bay Tornado. You never know. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me. I'm out. Antonio Santiago, Cali Buck, Buck fan 727, Sin A. Who am I missing? Stephen Bass. Goodness. I'm trying to see, am I missing anybody else? Tyler Johnston. And if I've missed you, Ricky, of course, Ricky, longtime listener, you are appreciated. Demand, what's going on? Byron Moore, longtime listener, you're appreciated. Seminole Buccaneer, shout out to Bucks Report as well. They do a great job, a lot of great content. If you're bored and you need something to listen to and you get on Facebook, go ahead and check out Bucks Report too. Another great site. Some of the other ones, there's so many good podcasts out here. I'm going to actually, next show, I'm going to line up all the podcasts that I follow, because I've got a rotation. Like I work when I'm at work and I'm able to put in my headphones. I think there's like 7 or 8 podcasts that I really check out. So, again, I'm going to give you a list of my podcasts. If there's any podcast that you guys feel that I need to listen to, let me know. I appreciate it. But anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Have a great weekend and be safe out there.